Again, we've taken this whole target market assessment piece and divided it into several categories. We've identified first the possibilities. What are all the possible market segments you may want to target? We've then done size determination and looked at evidence to learn more about the needs and wants of that market segment before we've finalized if we want to target it. But our third step that we just completed was our brand mapping exercise, where we visually show the needs of the market, where our competition sits, where we sit, and also assessing that to again ensure, do we want to go after this target market? And again, I know, I say it 50 times if I don't say it at all. If you can't own it, don't do it. Simple as that. So we've decided we're going to own it. There's enough possibility. We serve currently about 125 people in this market segment, and we've estimated the size of about 1,000 people in our 15-mile radius. We know their needs and wants. We know how we're perceived as best we are able to determine, and we know we're going to have to do a couple things according to that brand map if we want to own the market. And that's, again, look at our offerings. Do we offer everything that they're looking for and really meeting their needs? And then secondly, are we priced in a way that our price value is fair to them and certainly something attractive to them to increase something else happening? So based on all that, we're ready to write a target market objective. And as outlined in the lecture again, that exercise is SMART. And it only has 2 T's because we're always thinking about a target market, remember. And a SMART acronym for an objective is across disciplines. It's not unique to marketing, but it certainly applies to marketing here. We want an objective that is specific, is measurable, is attainable, or moderately risky, right? We don't want it super easy, but we don't want it impossible. We want it always to be reflective of our mission. We want it to have a time frame, and we want it to be about a specific target market. So if I say to you an organization has 4 to 8 target markets, that means they should have 4 to 8 target market objectives. Every target market gets their own. So ours does too. Here's how we'd write it. It's as simple as this, but there's again a whole bunch that goes into it. We are going to increase the number of, I would restate my target market. I'm going to increase the number of 18 to 29-year-old females within a 15-mile radius interested in health, fitness, and wellness available at various times. From, to, by, period. So again, has all of the elements of SMART. So let's fill in the blanks. We're going to increase the number of 18 to 29-year-olds, right? From currently, we know, because even if we didn't know, we went back and found out. We have membership information. I can tell you several organizations I've had to do this for. We get to this part of the process and I say, okay, how many senior citizens do you have here? You have a membership process. And they said, oh, we don't know. So we go, stop. Let's go find out. Pull those memberships, pull them by birthday, whatever. We can figure this out relatively easy. And it's going to be an important piece of information. I know in our industry, you get to this part of the process, we're going to work with a lot of organizations that do not have this. Maybe they're not membership based, maybe a whole variety of reasons they don't have that evidence, but it better be in their plan next year to get it, because it's going to be a variable that's important to us to learn about, so we know if not only what we're doing is working, but also whether we should go after a certain market because there's more or less of them. So let me just say, for example, in this market here, if I didn't know we served 125, and let's say really we served 750, and I didn't know that difference, what a difference that objective would have. You know, can I even secure the estimated 250 that are available still? So just remember again, hard thing for our organizations to have based on my experience. Very few do. More and more need to find out, because this is a piece of the puzzle that if I knew that, it would make or change my decision in a variety of ways. So I'm going to increase the number of this market from 125 to what's my moderate risk. I said the potential size of that market is estimated at about 1,000 people. If I said I'm going to go from 125 to 1,000, boy, I just set myself up totally for failure. And there's nothing like having an objective so far out there or so not realistic that you don't even work toward it because you feel like you'll never get there. Conversely, I don't want to say I'm going to go from 125 to 130 either. shoot, I would do one promotion the day before it was due and we could make that happen kind of idea. We're looking at some moderate estimate in the middle. So again, not easy to say what that number is going to be. There's too many variables that go into play here. How many target markets I'm going after, how much resource I have to go after them, how many changes I'm going to have to make to go after them, etc. So there's a lot of variables there. But I'm going to say, worth my time and effort based on what's happening in this market and where we're at, I am going to go and try and double that this next year. And maybe I'm already identifying this might be a 3-year target market for us because we want to be the ones that own this market in the area. So I'm going to strive for 125 this next year, which is pretty aggressive, but I think based on what's going on in the market, this is doable and it's going to push me and it's the right thing. But maybe my ultimate goal is to serve at least half of them, and that's maybe a 3-year plan. But right now I'm going to go from here to here, and then I'm going to identify the specific date I'm going to do that by. I don't like at all reading objectives that say I'm going to do that in a year, because a year is always a year every time you read it, and I have no idea where you're planting your stake. I want you to plant your stake very specifically. And again, all of us have different calendar years or fiscal years, etc., and it doesn't matter because it might be seasonally based. I may pick this not even based on my fiscal year. I may pick it based on when this market makes these types of decisions. So I know I'm writing an annual plan, but I'm going to put in this case, I'm going to do this because January is my big fitness month. I'm going to go from January to September 1st, and this is my focus. And then I'm going to put in my year, whatever that next year is. I read lots of marketing plans that don't make that commitment, which means it's a never-ending objective. Okay? Or they're afraid to commit, or they pick a date too soon. This is an annual plan. This isn't something that's going to take us a day to do, because if it's going to take you a day to do, just go do it, is what I say. Don't even write about it. Just make it happen. But in our case, this is going to take some significant effort, and we're going to have to think about the variety of ways we're going to do to make that happen. So let's check in and see if it's smart. Is it specific? Yeah, based on kind of a singular focus of potentially many. Is it measurable? Do you know if I make it? Sure do if I'm moving from 125 to 250. And again, I have a system in place to be able to monitor and measure that, then I know, right? Is it moderately risky or attainable? I think it is, but it's going to push us. And that's a good feeling to have. A little bit nervous, but confidence that we could make this happen. Reflective of a mission. There's nothing about this market segment that is doesn't match where we're going as an organization and our future, our visions, etc. It has a time frame, very specific, and it is always target market based. Absolutely. So we want separate marketing objectives for every targeted market we're going after. Your obligation in this plan, again, is one. I want you to pick the one target market, though, that you really feel will make a significant impact on this organization. And you, too, would write that. The last thing I'll say is, let me go back to the problem that many of us have in our organizations that we work with. And that's, this is not a measurable understanding in the organization. We really, or the organization doesn't have a handle on what percentage of their business is of this, this market segment, etc. So in that case, what do? Because that's reality, right? For right now. Until the organization can get a better handle on who they're serving, we're going to have to write this slightly differently. And instead of increasing the number of this market from this to this, we may just end up saying here, by 125 new memberships. Now the problem with that is 125 could be incredibly aggressive for this market or not at all, because if we don't have an idea of who we serve, it's really kind of hard to pick the right, attainable, measurable number. But we have to deal with what we have. And so for many of us writing this marketing plan, this may be what you have to do. This could be a number objective. This could be a revenue or a financial objective. You could write it a few different ways, but think of the way it's most easy to measure if you've made it happen or not. Because if we keep doing things in marketing that we can't understand are working, we will continue possibly making the same mistakes, but we won't hold ourselves accountable for making a significant impact in that organization. And again, we need to do that. So marketing objective is critical based on a target market. You can do it. You're picking one. Can't wait to read them.